I'm about to start, okay?
Okay.
State your name.
Lauren McClellan.
All right, so with the GRTC bus passes, when you first came here to VCU, how did the bus passes kind of influence you or affect your lifestyle in a way?
How did it affect my lifestyle?
Yes.
Basically, I got the bus pass every semester that I could because it was just convenient to have it just in case I had to use it, because when I first came here I didn't have a car. So I used it for shopping and stuff like that.
So for the bus passes, like what destinations did it take you to? Just down way to Target or?
That's mainly where I went whenever I used it, was Target.
And when you first came here, you were saying that it was for free?
It was, yes.
Okay. So when did you hear about that the schools actually starting to charge?
I think that it was the night of July 9th. I saw it on different social media sites. I didn't see it on any VCU site. I saw people talking about it like on Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook and stuff like that.
So what was your first reaction to hearing the news that they're going to start charging for these bus passes that usually were free?
I was angry because it seemed like VCU didn't do a good job of informing students that, you know, they were free, but now they were going to charge people for them, and they claimed it was a discounted rate. But, you know, it might be a discounted rate for what you could get it at GRTC for, but, you know, compared to free, that's not discounted.
So when you found the reaction, what was your first initiative thought to do?
Well, I thought about, I'm pretty sure her name's Grace Oxley. She started a petition to get Now and Zen back in the Commons, and she did it on change.org. And
you can just stop right.
She started a petition on change.org, and I just thought about how easy that would be to do because it just took like a few minutes to set up. So I started the petition about an hour after I heard about the GRTC bus pass charges.
Okay. So could you just repeat for the person walking through saying why did you chose to get the change.org petition?
Grace Oxley, she was another student who started a change.org petition to get Now and Zen back in the Commons. So I just thought that it would be an easy thing to do. And it just took about 2 minutes to make, so.
This is my third day working,
All right.
my second
And
week.
as far as how many signatures have you gotten so far for the petition?
I think the last time I checked it was 1,063.
What does that number count mean to you?
It means that a lot of other students are frustrated with VCU, you know, not informing students adequately, and, you know, they want the bus passes to be free again.
When you first heard the news about the bus passes, did you ever put into perspective the administration's point of view, or was it just for solely you?
I thought about the administration's point of view, and I thought that it might be GRTC changing the rules, but I learned that VCU, the contract between VCU and GRTC hadn't changed. So VCU was basically just changing the way that they paid for the bus passes. And, you know, I understand that we need to cut costs some places, but I feel as if the GRTC bus passes are really important. And, you know, it helps people get to class and get to work and go to the doctor, so.
Did you ever, after you heard about the news, did you consider actually buying the bus pass still?
No, I didn't consider it because I have a car now, so I don't need the bus pass. But, you know, I thought that it would cause a lot of people just not to buy it.
What outlooks did you look for as far as trying to solve this issue?
Different ways.
Yeah, like as far as like the campus-wise, like who did you go out for like first? Who was your first step?
Well, with the petition, the first thing that I did was post it on a bunch of the Facebook class pages, and I posted it on my Tumblr, and I posted it on my Twitter, and it gained traction quite quickly. So, you know, I did that, and then, okay, let me start over.
That's okay.
The first thing that I did was I posted on different Facebook groups, and I posted it on my Twitter, and I posted it on my Tumblr, and it gained traction. And, you know, I thought of different ways that if VCU were willing to listen to me, they could, you know, change the whole bus pass the way that they do it. Let me rephrase that. I thought if VCU were willing to listen to me, I thought of, oh my God, I don't know how to phrase that. I thought of different ways that VCU could change the GRTC bus pass program so it could still be free to some students, but some other students might have to pay for it. Like if you need the bus pass to get to class or you need it to go to work and you can, document that, then maybe it could be free to you, but if you used it just for shopping or just for entertainment, then you'd be able to pay for it.
Who did you present that idea to?
I talked about it with Dr. Rodriguez. I had a meeting with him last Friday, so I'm hoping that, talking to Dr. Rodriguez can help me talk to other officials who have some say in the matter.
Was he the only official that you got in contact with, or were there other individuals as far as students go or administration?
I've talked to SGA members and I've talked to Dr. Rodriguez, but I haven't talked to anyone in parking and transportation because they won't get back to me. So, and Dr. Rodriguez actually reached out to me to talk to me. So,
when you tried to contact parking and transportation, how did that make you feel when they didn't respond?
It made me feel like, there was a lot of bureaucracy, red tape things going on, but it was frustrating because I know that VCU isn't that bureaucratic because I work in an administrative office myself. So,
did you actually like the GRTC bus service, or was it? Did you actually like it, or was it something that you felt like you had to use?
well, I feel as if, it could be improved, but, I like the service because it gets you around the city.
And also, when you spoke to SGA members as students, what did they say to you in response?
I spoke to George, I don't know how to say his last name, George Potanet.
You're supposed to Potanet?
Yes. I spoke to him and, he was willing to talk to SGA on my behalf, and he spoke to Vic, the president, and then they spoke to different officials. I'm not exactly sure who they had a meeting with, but it seemed like they were willing to help me.
Was there anybody in this process who you didn't feel like who was trying to help you?
Do you mean as far as SGA members or just
anyone in general?
Anyone? I got a few people who, were against the petition and thought that, VCU should charge for the bus passes, and they said some things that were kind of rude, just like students are lazy and don't want to pay for their own things and stuff like that. So,
when you received those messages, what was your reaction to it?
It made me mad because, we already pay a lot to go to school. Why can't, VCU use some student fees that we've already paid to pay for it?
Did it shock you that students were responding to you in that manner?
A little bit, yeah, because it was like, why can't they see it from, a less fortunate student's perspective? Why can't, they understand that?
Did you do a lot of research in this whole processing, or?
I did. I looked into, how VCU, I tried to look into how VCU paid for the program in the past, and I looked at, the history of the program. I think it was something like maybe 8 years ago they weren't free. And then they became free, and then now they're starting to charge for them again. And I read a lot of the stuff from VCU's Quest for Distinction, and I learned that one of the core missions of the Quest is that they're trying to make VCU a greener university. And I thought that, one way to help students go green is to provide free transportation for them and not have them, bring their cars to campus every day.
When you were finding your research, did you present all that to the administration about these different alternatives? Like, for instance, did you find out how VC was able to get the bus passes for free back then, or?
Dr. Rodriguez couldn't really tell me the specifics, and he's the only official that I've talked to, because parking and transportation isn't in the realm of student affairs. It's like an auxiliary service. But he did try to explain to me like a few things that, the Board of Visitors discussed and how they could cut costs and stuff like that. So, I got a few answers, and Dr. Rodriguez was very helpful in that, but there's still a few answers that I need from parking and transportation that they haven't given me yet.
What do you want to get out of this petition in general, besides getting the GRTC bus passes to be free?
if I'd say just, more open conversation with students and administration, like, just I want students to feel like they can talk to administration and not be scared of it.
Do you feel like students' voices are heard on campus?
I think they sometimes are, and I think that, I've been heard on campus because Dr. Rodriguez has told me that, they've been talking about, changing the program, and this is the time where, they start to make those changes and discuss those changes for the next academic year. So I feel like I've been heard. Whether or not, like my argument will actually win, I don't know. But I feel like some students might fall by the wayside just because VCU is such a big school. So.
Do you feel that as if like by you already talking to administration and getting your voice out there, do you feel like that's already a win for you?
Well, I think it'll be a win when I get to talk to parking and transportation or someone who, is in that realm. Dr. Rodriguez, that, the way he reached out to me and talked to me, I was very appreciative for that. But until I get to talk to parking and transportation and get a definite answer on it, I don't feel like it's a win just yet.
How much more do you feel like that you have to fight?
Well, I guess I'll feel like, I'm done with this whenever I get to talk to someone who, is over parking and transportation.
And as far as student-wise, is the petition where you're going to stop at, or are you going to continue doing something else? Like, what's your next move?
Well, one thing that I started doing is collecting different student stories, like, how they use the buses and, how it helped them and how, being charged for it's going to affect them. So I think I'm going to continue to do that because I've gotten a few emails from concerned students.
What was the most impactful student story that you actually got during this process?
I'm sorry?
What was the most impactful student story that you've gotten within this process?
One student told me how he used the bus to visit his family because they live in Eastern Henrico. So, I thought about if, there was a bus that could take me all the way, down to Bristol, and, if that were free for me, how much I would appreciate that. And then, they start charging for it and it gets more difficult to go home. So, I understand, wanting to see your family. And then some people said that they absolutely needed it for work because they support themselves and they don't have any parental support in school. So,
And for just repetitive reasons, could you re-explain like how it would feel for you to be able to have a bus to take you to go see your family?
If I had a bus to take me to see my family, I would definitely take advantage of it. And if VCU provided that for free, that would be awesome because I haven't seen my family since April. So.
Oh my goodness, you haven't seen your family since April?
Yeah.
And you're all the way in Bristol?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
It's really hard to drive 6 hours to see them and then only be able to stay for like a week or so, and then, it's hard for them to travel up here, so.
All right, could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, sure. It gets hard to drive 6 hours to see them alone most of the time, and then it's hard for them to get up here sometimes, so.
And do you feel that if you had the bus to take you down there, that would be a little bit better instead of you driving?
Yeah. Like if I lived, in the greater Richmond area and, there was a bus that would take me to see my family, I would definitely take advantage of that.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're good. Awesome.
Did I do okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I get nervous whenever there's a camera in front of me.